Hello and welcome back to Finnish with Irina. I'm Irina, and in this video we're going to talk about why you were born to enjoy learning Finnish. Okay, so if this has not been your experience so far, or if you feel like, you know what, there is room for more joy in this process, then I think you're really going to like what we're going to talk about in this video. So in the previous video, I talked about how adaptation is your birthright or you are wired for language. I'll put a link down below in case you missed that video. Now, today I want to talk about how the fact that we're having fun in the process means that we can learn Finnish more. We can adapt to the language better. Okay, so as my claims get more and more outrageous, I do realize that the way that I talk about learning Finnish is just not the way that I hear other people talk about it. I talk about an unfolding adventure. I talk about an experience of awe, of curiosity, of ease and flow with the process. I talk about it being empowering. I talk about it like finding your sense of joy and riding that wave. Now, I want to take you into my world a little bit because, you know, I do believe that these things are all available to us, right? And I think the joy is such it's like something that just brings things to life. It just sparks, as Marie Kondo says, like spark joy, right? It just adds life into things. So there are three things about joy that I want to share with you today. And the first one is that the shortest path to joy is to stay in the present moment. So a lot of times when I hear people struggling to move forward or having a really hard time with something specific, so whether it's learning more vocab, learning more grammar, getting the chance to practice or speak in certain situations that get like really challenging, I notice that there's this resistance. There's this like, leaning back when you should be leaning in. And really leaning in and getting into that moment is your greatest source of power. So let me tell you a story. When I was at university, I happened to have a Olympic skier in my class. She was a friend of mine. I had no idea who she was. I knew her name, but I didn't know about her athletic background. And so I went skiing one weekend with my parents, and it had been a while, and I realized I was really like leaning back. So I wasn't able to control my skis, right? And so a lot of the experience was just very challenging because I was resisting. I was afraid, and I hadn't skied in a while. So after finding out that, oh, the girl who sits in my class every week is an Olympian skier, I actually told her like, hey, could you give me like some pointers? And so I told her what I had experienced, and she said, yeah, it's really interesting because even though it seems counterintuitive, when you go down the hill and the steeper it is, the more you have to lean in. Your impulse is just to lean back, but actually your center of gravity needs to stay above your feet because you have more control that way. That stayed with me, and I think that it applies in this situation as well, and especially in terms of, okay, yeah, lean in when you feel like you've been leaning out, and that's where you find your greatest source of power. And it's the same with time, right? So, okay, am I resisting this situation, or am I resisting this moment, or am I resisting showing up to talk, or to try because I should have done it 5 years ago, right? All of those shoulds, all of those things are resistance showing up. So how can you find yourself leaning in to the present moment so that you can access joy? Because that's the thing. The more resistance there is, the less joy there is. You can't access joy when you are denying what is in front of you. Okay, so just like I couldn't access control on my skis as long as I was afraid and leaning back because I wasn't accepting like the responsibility for the fact that I'm the only one who can drive the skis. Okay, so point two that I want to talk about is that you can actually follow your joy. You can step back from a situation and say, wait a sec, like I'm not having fun. I choose fun. I choose joy. What is it that I can do? And especially when you're stuck. So I do notice a lot of people tend to get really caught up in like, this is the next thing I have to do, but I don't want to do it. Therefore, I'm going to stop. I'm just, all of my efforts are just on hold, right? But the thing is that it doesn't necessarily have to be that thing that you thought. If it feels like resistance, I don't want to be doing this, then you can actually choose another thing. And the whole point that we talked about in the previous video with adaptation happening around you all the time, it's a constant, right? And you can resist its flow or you can flow with the stream, is that when you show up, it doesn't really matter like at which point you enter the stream. You just want to keep showing up so the adaptation can keep happening, right? So you can actually cross the fence at the lowest point, or yeah, basically you just have to trust that that flow will take you and it will guide you. Okay, so to use a whole bunch of expressions, the fog will clear, the other shoe will drop, things will click, or my personal favorite, as we say in Romanian, is that the coin will drop, like when you put it in like the machine, you hear it drop inside. But you need to keep showing up to allow adaptation. So where you enter the stream, where you enter the process is up to you. So choose the easiest point. Choose the most interesting thing. Choose something that makes you curious because you get to decide. Okay, which brings me to point number 3, which is that you are the only one that can feel your emotions. So if somebody's saying, hey, enter the stream here, this is the spot that you need to enter the stream, and you don't agree, then you need to find your own point. Now, you can also find another guide who's pointing to a different spot on the stream, and maybe that you do want to go there because that does feel like fun. So in a sense, you get to choose, do I want to do what this teacher is advising me to do, or am I going to go my own way, right? And your emotions are there to guide you. Is this appealing? Is this not appealing? Does this sound boring? Does this sound amazing, right? And no teacher, no guide, no matter how good, will be able to feel what is right for you. So that's where, taking back to the ski example, right? Nobody could ski for me. I had to realize that the only person who had my feet strapped into those skis was me. And, the mountain will take me down. It's just a matter of leaning in so I can actually control the process and make it more fun, right? So you can choose guides which resonate with you. You can choose guides whose approach is like, oh yeah, I actually want to do that, but you always have the final say. So that's what I have for you today on joy and why you were born to enjoy learning Finnish. So have fun with it, right? And if this video resonated with you, if you want to hear more of what I'm saying, or perhaps even choose me as a guide in learning Finnish, I have a program that's out now. Registration is open and it's called Finnish Through New Eyes. You can find more information about this program at the link below. And if you're interested, then I look forward to seeing you in the program. All right, I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.